When you serve somebody food, they have meat, they have vegetables, and they have maybe ugali or rice. What do they go for first? Meat. They will eat that meat first before they eat anything else. Why is that?
Poverty.
You have superior nutrients in your plants. Just know that. So that if you're going to eat any animal products, you make it minimal. You make it minimal and the best you can. Like you said, grass-fed or free range and all this. But I'm asking also another thing. The reason why probably they're feeding these cows with grains is to catch up with demand. Where are they gonna get? Where are they gonna have free range, cows? Because of the demand. Just imagine the number of people go to the store with the promotion of this high protein diet. And remember, you cannot separate these two. A high protein diet is also a high fat diet because really high protein means animal protein.
This is the One Mic Show.
You eat fat in the nyama choma, you eat fat in these eggs, in these dairy products and stuff. That's where the fat comes.
So what happens to excess carbs? Because now this right here is part of why people are in a state of total confusion. Exactly. Because there's another expert who's gonna sit there like you and tell us, like using studies and scientific evidence that excess carbs are what is converted into fat. So, and me, I'm speaking for most people are in a state of confusion.
Me, I'm confused. Yeah. Atkins, pia nilisikia ni poa.
Yes. So I think this is where I think all nutrition experts need to have a kamkunji. I think you all need to be locked up somewhere.
And then you decide.
And then you go, you're locked up.
You decide.
Whoever
comes out.
Like a conclave. You guys need to have a conclave.
Yes.
Yeah. Like whatever decision comes out of there is one. You guys can fight in there. You guys can do whatever you want. Because
mimi nimaliza na coffee.
Yeah.
Unaambiwa hii ni nzuri afu nakwambia ni mbaya.
Kwanza coffee sijui inakuongezea sodium, sijui it's got potassium, and then body wewe.
So you see, and then Esther Mulusa here also made quite an interesting comment.
Now, before you go, I had a question.
And then YouTube kwanza, so many comments.
Okay, yeah. Doctor, what about how we prepare/consume? Because I think the Maasais of 70s walikuwa healthier kuliko Maasai wa sasa, even if they're still, consuming the same type of food and everything. Mm-hmm. And I wonder if how we, not only we raise them, but how we prepare hicho chakula sasa hivi na microwaves na air fryer and all this stuff. Hii pia ina play part kiasi gani? Not only
I was looking into that because people tell me that a lot. They say but look at the Maasais, and I say please don't use Maasais because you don't live a Maasai lifestyle. You don't. I don't.
But
then they're nomads. Can you actually get that much activity in a day? And I asked them, the Maasais, the livestock is their livelihood. Yes. Do you really think they're slaughtering these animals like we think they are doing this? Are they eating that much meat like we think they eat? Now, if you compare milk, I know for sure they drink a lot of milk.
Yes.
But when it comes to meat, I don't think, and I was reading too about this, but now lifestyle has changed for them too. They're eating processed foods, they're eating chips, all these fried foods. Because remember, as I was starting to talk about fat being stored in the body as fat. So if you're also eating all this fried food, you cook all this food and you cook chapati and all this food. So fat also, in terms of calories, fat oils are the most calorie-dense foods on the planet, right? Just a gram of fat is 9 calories compared to a gram of carbohydrates, which is 4 calories. And I ask my people a lot, which one do you think will make you fat? A carbohydrate that has only 4 calories or a fat that has 9 calories? It's more than double the calories you have in carbohydrates. And remember, if your body is programmed to use carbohydrates for energy. So when you eat food, let's say, for example, you eat rice and meat, your body will digest that food. It uses the carbohydrates for energy because that's the easiest thing to do. The body will do the easiest thing. It burns that for energy. So all the fat that came with the meat you ate, where did it go? if you didn't do any extra thing to actually use it, it got stored because your body preferentially uses carbohydrates for energy, and there's nothing we can do to change that.
Okay, Mika had something that he wanted to ask before we lose that point. Mika.
Yes.
No, as in, for me, it's just that these are the things. And as I was saying, your body is treated when you eat a balanced diet. Simple as that. When you eat excessive of everything, if you eat excessive of carbohydrates, it's going to be turned into glycogen, and if you, which is going to be stored in the, it's going to be stored in the liver and muscles. And then if your body has more than that, and then if you go above that, it's converted to fat. Anything that the body consumes that is in excess will be converted to fat as storage. Fat is what the body will try to burn down when it doesn't have anything to give it, to give it energy. So that is why if you are so used to eating, and your body knows that the way I fuel myself is through eating, you'll be always craving food because your body is always going to communicate to you to feed it. But then if you communicate to your body to use its fat reserves, and that is why you're being told to eat below a certain calorie, to eat on a caloric deficit, you're being told to be active so that you can burn calories. You're being told to grow, like go to the gym, lift weights, grow muscles so that your muscles can burn, which need to be fed, will be using the food that you're eating to grow itself. And so your body doesn't store anything that you're eating, it's consuming it. It's just a matter of balancing yourself out. So the thing is that everything that we bring into our body in excess is going to be stored at some point into fat, because the fat is what the body is going to use itself to give itself energy. And as you stated earlier, doctor, the body will always communicate to itself on feeding and reproducing itself, which consumes energy. So the main engineering complex of our body is in terms of it has to energize itself to keep living, which is regrowing itself. As it depletes itself, it regrows itself. So
yes,
when we are talking about this, and as Ali was saying, when we pull to one side, we are losing a lot of benefit. How can I say, important information, because I never said plants are bad. Plants are actually good. They have a lot of, as you said, complex carbohydrates. Like somebody who wants to lose weight, if you eat potatoes are high in protein and high in carbs. They are very high in carbs, but also high in protein for plants. Most people don't know that. So depending on how you consume that potato, if you're doing, let's say, air fried potatoes or baked potatoes, you can eat a lot of potatoes without gaining a lot of calories, and they're healthy for you. So most people don't know that there's some plant foods which are actually good for you. We just dismiss them because of how we prepare them. We prepare them badly. Ukifry ikwe chipo, calories zitatoka kwa mafuta, si kwa waru, but utablame waru.
Wow. Okay. So now, let me go through some comments here, because we've also been having so many comments as we've been having this very compelling conversation with Daktari here. Let me start from here. Kenyanjui said, Doc, I don't think anyone is bashing your push for a disproportionately larger plant-based diet compared to animal sources. The concern is that you're framing it as a binary choice, one or the other, all or nothing. The real issue is deviation from moderation, like eating too much animal protein. And then you have Contrum Kenya, and Asema, due to recent developments at the CDC, it's hard to question cherry-picked and biased evidence-based studies geared towards meeting individualized or group-based objectives. My brothers from Western Kenya can also come up with many studies to support an Ingoho chicken-based diet, and no one can dispute it comes down to it. And then Esther Mulusa says, I'm rather skeptical of Western scientific research. They debunk and change their stance every now and then. One day milk is good, the next day milk is bad. And all of this change of stance comes from even Ivy League schools, which is very true. This is notoriously true about Western sources. And that's the reason why I think it's important to try to balance this with other either non-Western or non-traditional sources. And then Christabel here says, I agree with you, Daktari, that plants are powerful nutrient sources. I would only argue that everybody's body composition is different, so it's really not a one-size-fits-all. Generally, we need to incorporate more plants in our diet and less animal products. The quality of animal products is not that great. They are fed grains and antibiotics. That's why you need to go buy halal beef. But anyway, that's a story for another day. And then Steph.
Ali. Is it halal because of the way it was raised, or halal because of the way it was slaughtered?
So halal farms, there's a standard that they have here
Both.
in the US. So there's a standard that they have in the US.
So when you go to halal store, are you buying halal? Is that a meat from halal farms?
It's from halal farms.
It's a halal sauce and everything.
It's
is done
halal
the
farms,
halal way.
and they're
So
not allowed to feed them
as
antibiotics. They're not allowed to feed them those. They have to feed them natural stuff. Yeah.
Sisi wakati tunakuja kuchinja tunaambia muite Ali akichinja hapa itakuwa halal hata kama mmemkuza na kemikali.
There's that one, yes, but not the one you're buying.
That was true back home. Unajua, by the way, Kenya hakuna label ya halal because all meat is halal. All meat is halal. Nyama unanunua kutoka butchery Kenya yote 100%. In Kenya you'll never see a halal
again,
label.
Is halal because of the way it was slaughtered.
So hapa
Not the way they were
back home
raised and fed.
Inafaa kuwa
back home animals
inafaa kuwa the way it's raised, si slaughter pekee.
So you see back home hakuna issue ya kufeed antibiotics juu kama imeanza. Now unless imeanza recently. But ukienda Umasaini ama ukienda kule ambapo wanakuza like ng'ombe na mbuzi, it used to be in open.
Mimi nilikuwa nafanya biashara ya nyama in 1991, 92, 93. Niko primer.
Yeah.
Okay. Na kipindi hicho depends on where you are. Yes, I agree.
Yeah.
Baadhi ya sehemu lakini kuna sehemu ambazo ulikuwa una inject.
Okay, sawa. Hiyo topic tutaongea another day.
Yeah, that's topic. Na kama unajua at one point East Africa ilikuwa inaonekana ARVs zilikuwa zinatumika zaidi kulisha wanyama kuliko wagonjwa.
Okay, that's a topic that we're going to talk about another day. Kenyan Julia says,
you've even scared the doctor. She's even about to withdraw. Where?
Hapa Kenyan Julia anasema again, why is she making this a binary choice? That's where she's losing me. As Ali put it very well, but even if the good doc wants to reference the Bible, she cannot choose to ignore that part of the Bible that gives humans explicit permission to eat meat of animals, for the first time supplementing the diet of plants. Every moving thing that lives shall be good for you. As I gave you the green plants, I give you everything. That's Genesis 9:3. And then we have Mutslis Ndunge anasema it's both. Excess carbs are not good, just like excess protein. At the end of the day, it's calorie in excess. And then hapa Kenyanjua anasema bottom line, if the doc is strictly comparing plants versus animals, sure, plant diets look healthier, but we eat for more than calories. Animal foods carry emotional and cultural value too. She's throwing the baby out with the bath water. So very strong opinions here. Hapa YouTube, let me take a quick look. Nisi neglect what
Anza na Africana Voice hapo kwa elephants.
Africana Voice. Let me see.
Let
me see. Let me go back to Africana Voice. Voice.
Iko juu ya wewe.
I think yungu. Yeah.
No,
so
anza hapo alafu you have to.
Okay, sawa. So Africana Voice says elephants, horses don't eat nyama. Okay, and then hapa Vicky anasema watching from the land of 1000 lakes. I content anasema it's giving pyramid schemes in quotes.
Yeah, Mungu, I content.
Unaona hapa because it's a very personal relationship that people have.
I think I content, and what's the other guy? Huyu mwingine?
Mwingine sasa I don't know
on FB.
Kenyanjui.
They are the same person. But
Okay. And then hapa resilient Vicky Onderi kwanza nasema asante, this is fire. Resilient says, I don't think we need to remove meat in our diet. Get 100% grass-fed, 100% grass-finished. Get lean meat. For fish, avoid farm-raised fish. Get the wild-caught. Get organic pasture-raised eggs. Then Resilient also further says, of course, get a lot of vegetables in your diet. Get organic vegetables, easily sourced in farmers' markets. And then content anasema mi nilitoa daktari TikTok. I don't know what it means.
Alisema mulitoa.
Mlitoa daktari TikTok. Okay.
Sindio.
Wow.
Yani,
okay.
Yani
Resilient.
eye content. I'm telling you, this eye content is the same Kenyanjui.
Resilient says, I've had Masais don't eat a lot of milk as people want to suggest. I think the Resilient meant meat. And then don't eat a lot of meat.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And then Apa Misha is asking, is chewing miraa vegetable healthy? Okay, all right. That's
anataka daktari to answer. So daktari should answer that now.
Na swali la kizushi hapa.
Yeah.
Kama wanyama, kama ng'ombe anakula majani. Ndio?
Yeah.
Ng'ombe hali nyama.
Yeah.
Mbuzi hali nyama.
So unasema vegetables zako ziko ndani ile nyama.
Hapana. Ila ninachosema ni kwamba then kwa nini sisi tusiachane na nyama kama middleman tukaenda moja kwa moja tukala majani?
Tukala majani. Okay. Sasa.
That's the plant-based that you are being told.
Yeah.
Or the grass.
I'm just saying kama ng'ombe anakula majani tu.
Yeah.
Sisi tunamla ng'ombe. This means ng'ombe ndio middle.
And your middleman, yeah.
Tuachane na middle.
So we can just eat that.
Anachokula ng'ombe.
It's easier to eat that vegetable when it's inside the cow. So you eat the cow has vegetables in it. But Apa Resilient anasema for me I need Resilient anasema for me I need meat, but I know the kind of meat to buy. 100% grass-fed, 100 grass-finished. The issue is eating meat from cows that have been fed grains. And then let me see Apa Misha utapata jibu yako from Dr. you about miraa. We're going to give a chance to answer that. Resilient anasema you can buy directly places like US Wellness Meat. And then Africana anasema umewai sikia ndovu akisema leo nataka nyama. And then Resilient anasema to the panelists, the meat needs to be 100% grass-fed. 100% grass-fed. The animals have not been fed on grains. Yeah. So
kuna documentary moja inaitwa nitatafuta jina na tuliangalia kwenye darasa la Culture of Capitalism. And I remember tulipoangalia ile watu wawili ambao walikuwa wanafanya kazi fast food waliquit that day, wakionyesha how animals are fed here in the US. Na inazungumzia wale ambao sio halal, ambao ng'ombe tangu anazaliwa mpaka anakufa hajala majani, anakula mahindi tu na chemicals and all this stuff na wana scoop. So taitafuta.
Okay, let's go back to daktari. You know, like there's maybe anza na hiyo miraa, and then so many other things. And this is the, let me say, the danger that you're gonna get into daktari, because I think the goal is not to lose people. And I think if it's a life and death situation, especially when we're looking to reverse certain conditions we have, we're talking diabetes, hypertension, I think it's important for people to seriously consider it, because that's now an emergency situation. But let me let you talk, Daktari. Tuanze na miraa, and then we're going to go to the other things that people were talking about. Daktari.
Of course, you know, I'm going to say no drugs. That's not going to help. They're like those things we use for herbal tea that have antioxidants and phytochemicals, right? What are those that you buy? You understand what I mean? Like those herbal tea stuff that you buy and put in your water, right? Hot water, but no, not miraa, because this stuff have some psychoactive stuff that can really affect your mental health, your brain. So you don't want to be doing any of that stuff, even though it might be legal, right? You don't want to be doing that. And while we are on that, let me talk about alcohol. One of the things that we got to address when it comes to diseases and even, weight gain and all this. If you're drinking alcohol, it's going to be really hard to maintain healthy weight, to lose weight, because guess what? Like I said, your preferred energy source for your body is carbohydrates. When you drink alcohol, before even you can use your carbohydrates, you have to use the alcohol. So this is why people that drink alcohol gain weight, because now imagine you have to use alcohol first, then use carbohydrates, then start using fats, right? So that becomes a real issue. Of course, smoking damages health in all ways, so we don't really want to go into those things. So there are multiple things that have been said, listening to the questions, the comments. And one thing I wanted to say, by all means, this is not all or none. I'm trying to defend, showing, all I'm trying to say, to show you is that you have superior nutrients in your plants. Just know that. So that if you're going to eat any animal products, you make it minimal. You make it minimal and the best you can. Like you said, grass-fed or free range and all this. But I'm asking also another thing. The reason why probably they're feeding these cows with grains is to catch up with demand. Where are they gonna get? Where are they gonna have free range, cows? Because of the demand. Just imagine the number of people go to the store with the promotion of this high protein diet. And remember, you cannot separate these two. A high protein diet is also a high fat diet, because really high protein means animal protein, right? Because if you think plant protein actually has more carbohydrates in it. So this is the issue, that it's not only about our health. Let's think about what's going on with our health. Did you know that one of the leading causes of climate change is animal agriculture? Do you know how much resources we use to produce these animals? To produce plant food to eat versus animal food to eat, let's say even just cows, the meat and stuff, it spends more than 10 times the resources. And these cows produce methane, which is a greenhouse gas. So we are changing our environment. We talk about how we're going to decrease, global warming. We have to decrease our animal consumption so we can stop all this animal, breeding for food. Because if people ate meat naturally, like a cow that can be grown for who knows how many months, 18 months, but they can grow it for 6 months. They can grow a chicken for 21 days instead of taking, sorry, I think I said it backwards. Your cows probably take years, right? But your chicken, instead of growing it for 18 months, they're growing it for 21 days, right? Your cow, who knows how many years it takes, but they can grow that in months, right? So if we can slow down on our consumption, eat just the natural stuff. So that means, you know what that means? If you're going to eat that meat naturally, you're not going to eat it so many times. It costs more. It's expensive. So you're not going to eat it as much. There will be control in it by itself. And the way you cook it, like we said, if you're going to do nyama choma, you're going to produce cancer forming compounds. They're called carcinogens. So they talk about baking it or boiling it or making stews instead of nyama choma. And people love nyama choma. That's what they love. So that's an issue, the way we cook it too. So I'm saying it's not all or none, but there are studies that have shown that even consuming 2 eggs a week increases your risk of diabetes. So if we look at our environment, yes.
Yes. So we actually have a caller. We actually have a caller. We're going to get back to that.
Na kuna mtu alikuwa anazungumzia 5 eggs a day.
Nilirarua 6 asubuhi. Sasa naambiwa I'm done.
Yes.
Remember, I'm saying 2 a week. I'm not even saying
2 a day. Na tulikuwa tunapiga 5 a day.
Yeah, so we're going to get back to that again. I want to remind the listeners that you're tuned into the One Mic Show. Number to call is 202-683-4570. Press star 5 to speak, and we do have a caller.
Piga mayai matano na nyama choma. Anyway, let's go to
you are a carcinogen type of guy.
6414. Welcome to the One Mic Show. Tell us who you are and where you're coming from.
Tell us who you are and where you're calling from.
Oh, hi. This is Kathy, and I'm actually calling from the Bay Area in California.
So, is it Kathy?
And yeah, Kathy, that's me.
All right, Kathy, talk to us from the Bay Area.
Yeah, so my question actually is about, and I don't know if you guys discussed this earlier on and I missed it, So I understand, between the plants and the meat, and I think someone addressed the grain in the meat and all the bad stuff that's in it. But I think we cannot fail to have this conversation and not address the fact that we live in a society or in a country that, almost all its produce and meat and dairies and all that stuff has a lot of chemicals in it, has a lot of things that are not right for human consumption. And, in conventional supermarkets, that's all that you get. But then organic food that's wholesome without any of that stuff is very, very, very expensive for the regular American person, and not a lot of people have access to it. And so how do you actually address that? If you're telling me to eat a lot of vegetables that are good for me, talking about gaining weight, but then all the vegetables and all the nice produce that I know, it's not grown well. It has a lot of stuff in it that might not even help me at all. So how do you address the high cost of organic food in America, the chemicals in the food, and how to maintain good, healthy, fit body?
All right. Dr. Kanyaro, address Kathy.
Right. So, and that's actually before Kathy, probably before she came on, I was talking about how I sometimes get food from Walmart, right? So it's like, honestly, if you think about it, having, just regular meat, not organic, and having regular vegetables or fruit, which actually is better if you think about it, right? So looking at that, and I'm saying people have improved their health eating organic, meat and chicken and eggs and all this because I think how expensive these foods are, it probably regulates how much they're eating compared to if you're just eating regular, right? So these people's health is going to improve because already they are going to eat much, much less than regular, people. So what I'm saying is, we can try to grow some of the food. You can grow all the food. You can try to grow what you can grow, get organic what you can get. And there are those dirty that they call, the I think it's the 30 dozen or whatever. Like there are those specific ones like strawberries. You want to try to get organic. The one with thin skin that get all pesticides and whatever stuff. So there are foods that I try to get organic, and some I just don't, because again, sometimes you don't even find it, or you find it and it's like not even looking good. It's been sitting in the store who knows for how long. So some I get frozen, right? I get like frozen organic strawberries, frozen organic blueberries or mangoes, and whatever I can get frozen, I go to the fresh. So some, it's not fast. Sometimes I know specific stores to go. I know what to get from Costco. I know what to get from Walmart and grocery outlet. Like I will go to different stores to just get what I need to get. And sometimes, like, I live in the Central Valley area, Fresno, California. So there's a lot of farming here. So like right now we have like peaches, plums, we have of course watermelon and stuff. So I will go to the, people that sell it on the stalls, right? Or by the roadside, or go to their home, and I get way more. I get a whole box of, or it's during the orange season, which passed. I'll get a whole box of oranges for $20, and we go and eat for 2 weeks. So, I mean, it's really paying attention. I tell my people that you have to stop spending the least time with the food you eat. The least time, I don't even want to think about, where I'm going to shop. I want to get the fastest thing. I just don't. I don't. If you do that, then it's going to be a problem. You're not going to get as healthy food as you want, or maybe you go get fast foods and all this thing. We have to make, because food, like I said, is top when it comes to health. And many other things. Maybe we'll have time to talk about other lifestyle things, but we have to really spend that time, prepare the food, and it becomes easier. I can tell you when I started, because, now I have kids, I can't just feed them ugali and mboga. No, they're like, no, So I had to learn how to make them plant-based pasta, plant-based macaroni and cheese. I make them pancake from scratch. I make them muffins. I make them pizza. Like I
about
had to
Beyond
learn
Meat?
to eat.
How
Right?
do you make pancake without eggs?
Yeah,
Without
actually, I do.
Hmm.
And if you go on my I have some YouTube. I just need to do more. I keep telling myself because seriously, it really does take time. Lifestyle Medicine Global on YouTube. But if you go on my Facebook, I share. Whenever I share food, I share the recipe too. So Daphine Kanyaru on Facebook. If you're on Facebook, you'll find me and see the recipes I post. So I have learned, and I look at recipes online. Now I go to ChatGPT and I'm like, change this recipe for me, make it on only plant-based, no oil. Oh, that's another thing. By the way, I don't even use oil to cook my food.
Yeah.
My husband loves chapati. Okay, listen. My husband loves chapati. He cooks them maybe once a week, and I don't even eat them. Because for me, once I started cooking my food without oil, I can't. I just can't have food with oil. I was visiting Kenya 2 months ago. I ate food with oil because, I mean, come on. What was I supposed to do?
You could have carried your non-fat oil. Sorry.
I
mean,
Still.
in my house, I don't use oil because if you listen to a lot of people, a lot of health experts also talking about seed oils, refined oils, and all these different oils, and saying, well, maybe avocado oil is better for cooking, and what about extra virgin oil? But remember, in terms of cooking, yes, avocado oil is more stable in terms of the temperature, but still a tablespoon of oil is 120 calories. 120 calories, mostly empty.
So if I'm not,
Utakufa vibaya.
I'm using olive oil. I've got sijui the virgin one from sijui Italy, and it came with sijui I don't know, a plane, and then you're telling me I can't cook my eggs and I can't eat 8 of them because if I eat 2 of them, I'm going straight to the heart doctor.
I'm still surprised hata kwa nini niko high. I think
So based upon what she's saying, I should be dead. I mean, I had 6 eggs this morning.
So there's one other way in which you know, like
na Kathy bado yuko, I'm not sure kama jibu swali lake.
yes, so Kathy sijui kama bado yuko was
yupo.
yeah.
Yeah,
Kathy, we're gonna give you another.
And I had a
go ahead.
follow-up question though.
Yeah, go ahead,
If you
Kathy.
can let me.
Yes.
Yeah, so I was just gonna say, and I do respect Dr. Kanyaru a lot, and I'm just hoping and that, you know, her story and her where she's coming from with all that knowledge that she has and all the research that she has, that it doesn't come across as if she's trying to instill her own lifestyle into the lives of other people. And I'm hoping that this message is gotten, because I don't want to get out of this phone call feeling like, oh, she was only trying to instill or push down my throat how she lived her life. You know, I want to come out of this knowing that I have so much information about bad oil versus avocado oil. You know, I have so much information about plants versus meat, you know, what I need to do. So I'm hoping that message goes across well, it should be received, versus feeling like, oh, she was just telling me what to do.
Well, yeah. Dr. Kanyaru.
You know, one thing, like I was saying, what I'm trying to say to have my people understand is this, that when you're eating food, you want to make sure you get the most out of it. And I want you to be clear today that you get most out of natural plants. That is a fact. It's not something that I'm making up, because like I said, your plants have the 9 nutrients I talked about. So with that in mind, when you're going to make your food, make your plants the center. If you do that, you way ahead. If you make your plants the main deal, the main issue, then everything else is on the side, right? If you're going to eat your little meat, it's on the side.
Your 2 eggs.
No, she said 2 eggs a week, you're done. So you can't.
But what I'm worried about,
even boiled eggs.
She said the eggs.
Right.
Take it
period.
easy,
It
Ali.
doesn't matter. The
Boil
egg is-
2 eggs on
Just
Sunday.
The
Yeah.
egg is the
The
egg.
chop in
It's-
pieces. The spread all week. That's
the egg is like
if you gotta have it every
the egg
day.
is like flesh. Flesh is flesh. Egg is egg.
yes,
Well-
and that actually, let me say something about that, because you know, I usually get a lot of people, you know, fighting me on the internet. So you know, I'm used to it by now. So this is what I tell people. Milk is not for humans. Milk is for baby cow. And if you look at the nutrients, the top
Bombo.
nutrients,
Water.
milk is
watu wa Weetabix wameepa.
Rasclat.
hata ile milk imekamuliwa kwa almond, hata sijai kuona almond ziko na chuchu.
Your almond ni different, so I'm coming to that. So, but I'm talking about cow milk. So cow milk, the top nutrients in cow milk is lactose and fat. So milk, you see how the baby cow, the calf grows so fast because of the nutrients in that. It's not the same as the human milk. So I tell people, yes, human milk is perfectly fine for your baby. Milk is for infants, but when as adults, as grown, after we're out of infancy, we don't need milk. Now, you might ask, what happens to calcium? What happened to vitamin D and those things? So did you know that the vitamin D in milk is added in the factory? So it's not natural in the cow milk. Number 2, calcium. The cow gets calcium from the grass. So you can get calcium from the greens. You eat a lot of greens, you not only get calcium, you get iron. In fact, I'll tell you that, of course, I can't give myself, I'm one case study. I can't give just myself as an example, but I've never been anemic. I've been plant-based for 18 years. I've never been anemic. So this thing of, you become anemic and all these things, in fact, the iron you get from your animal, from your meat is not controlled. It's very bioavailable that you absorb so much, it can actually become toxic to your organs, your liver being one of them. So you need some control. And when you eat plants that have the iron, calcium and all that, it controls how you absorb these nutrients. So I want you, my sister, my goodness, remind me your name.
Kathy.
I want Kathy. Please, when you live here today, I want you to know that all I'm trying to encourage is let the plants be the center and the whole plants. And one of our panelists did ask about processed meat. In my house, processed plant foods. In my house, you will not find impossible.
Beyond meat.
Not find beyond meat in my house. The only things you find in my house is whole wheat, you find brown rice, you find oats, you find quinoa, you find millet, you find beans, lentils, garbanzo beans, you find all different kinds of vegetables and fruit. Tofu is as much processed I go to, and soy milk. Otherwise, I don't do processed food as much as I can.
How do you get soy milk without being processed, though?
Yeah, soy milk is processed.
That's what I said. It is that's as processed as I said. Tofu and soy milk is the processed thing. I actually make my own soy milk, but it consumes time, so sometimes I have to buy, and almond milk. So those are the things you find in my house. My kids have
So I think the part where you said, like humans are never meant to consume milk beyond infancy. I think that's something that we can agree. You're gonna have problems with that statement, and I'm not saying it, as an expert, but we can agree you're gonna have problems with that statement. All the maziwa nyayo we drank, I think now maybe
we should be dead now.
Yeah,
we should be dead now.
Maybe has gone to waste. But I think these are those things that, like I said, because there's a lot of confusion. All major nutritional experts should be locked up in a conclave and go duke it out and agree. Because even when you look at advice from the CDC and also the FDA, the Food and Drug Administration, when you look at their history, they've been changing. There were points where they were saying good. Then one day they changed their mind. Bad. Good. Yeah. So it's one of those things that I think people will still be in confusion. But I think people who will be the biggest beneficiaries are especially people who are looking to reverse, certain conditions, the diabetes, the hypertension, because reality is that these are conditions that are really affecting people in the community.
Especially blacks.
Yes, and there's evidence that plant-based diets may be beneficial in trying to reverse those. Now, one other thing that I will say that I can speak from personal experience, and maybe you can talk a bit about it, is fasting. Because I've not seen you talk about fasting so much.
Intermittent ama gani?
So unaona sasa kama sisi Waislamu we have the dry fast.
You are the last party.
We have the 30 days in a year dry fast, which generally speaking I usually lose between 10 to 15 pounds.
I think it was about on Wednesdays, right?
Yeah.
For SDAs.
So SDS in your SDS sijui, but your
I think
Islamo,
they do like Wednesdays, something like
it's a solid dry fast. Depending on the time of the year, it could be up to 16 hours. It could be anywhere between 12 to 16 hours,
Yeah.
depending on what time of the year. Then we also optionally fast, which I also practice on Mondays and
Mondays.
Thursdays.
Okay, I didn't know Thursday.
Yeah, it's Mondays and Thursdays, twice a week, which I do, which of course it eliminates everything that you're gonna eat. So basically, you're choosing 2 days a week, and you're eating 1 meal a day. I typically do not eat more than 2 meals a day, but on this particular day, you're eating only 1 meal a day. So please talk to us about fasting and what benefit it could be, especially for the majority who are not gonna comply with the idea of no
Yes.
milk, no eggs, no meat.
No cornflakes, no
Yeah.
water.
Ali,
Yes, Mika.
unajua hiyo mtu Waislamu hufanya ni intermittent fasting. You just change the times of the day that you're eating.
So why I would not call it intermittent fasting?
Ali, sio kwamba
No,
Wow.
scientifically. Nimesema
No,
scientifically.
even
hiyo ndo jina
scientifically,
yake.
because
sikatai
scientifically,
na kenye ulisema, it's a dry fast.
yeah, it's a
na
dry
kila
fast.
kitu.
Yes, which is very different. Which
Yeah.
is if you do 16 hours dry fast, it's a very different fast from
But-
when you're fasting 16 hours na unakunywa maji na unakunywa kahawa.
But intermittent fasting inamaanisha tu kugeuza timing ya kukula. Basically, intermittent fasting unakwanga na time frame. Unakula between most times usually between saa 8
Yeah.
na 8 p.m.
Yeah.
And it's actually very good. That hiyo ndo kitu nilitumia kufanya niweze ku reduce my calorie intake. It was so that you have a small window of eating. Unajua ukikaa njaa for long, alafu kule huwezi kula sana
Huwezi
'cause
kula
katumbo
sana.
kameshrink.
Yeah. Okay.
So by the time unakula between hiyo window, unazoea kukula, like it helps a lot. So it's usually just reverse time ya kukula, like you give yourself a window of eating.
Okay, let's hear from Daktari
Like-
about fasting.
Actually, that is really interesting, Ali. I didn't know that you do dry fast, meaning
Yes.
no even water, no
No.
liquid.
No.
nothing.
Nope.
From dawn to
For 30 days.
for 30 days.
And you know when we
Ramadan.
start
From sunrise to sunset.
Yeah, and you know when we start, we start being taught how to fast at age 7. By the time you're 10, 11,
You're full.
you're fasting a
Unafunga
full
Ramadhani
day.
yote.
And I'll tell you, no one has ever died from fasting. There are people who are exempted, breastfeeding mothers, if you're pregnant, if you're sick, if you're traveling, there's certain exceptions. But trust
You are
me,
healthy na nani?
yeah, you'll be okay. No one has ever died because of fasting.
Right.
Yeah.
And you know, you're right, because definitely because you have decreased so much the amount of you're eating only once a day, you have decreased your calories so much, you're going to lose weight, definitely. But let me talk about, medically, when people talk about intermittent fasting and people talking about 1 meal a day, OMAD, right? So they're doing 1 meal a day, or other ways that people, or the eating window 6 hours and all this. So remember, again, when you think about the two, let me just say for now, just for discussion, we have the two groups of food. You have your animal foods, and then you have your plant foods. The thing with the plants, they're naturally low calorie because they're naturally low fat. If you remember what I said, a gram of carbohydrates, because plants are naturally high carbohydrates. So something that is high carbohydrates and low fat is naturally going to be low calorie. Your animal food, on the other hand, because they tend to have more fat, so meaning that because a gram of fat is 9 calories, they're going to have more calories just because they have more fat in them. So when it comes to people that eat plants, predominantly plants, fasting doesn't, they don't do so much of that because already they're not consuming a lot of calories. You get it? But if you are eating regularly, fasting becomes a kind of a big deal because you are restricting the amount of calories that you're intaking, definitely giving your body time to rest. Personally, I do also practice intermittent fasting, but this is how I do it. Right now, we are talking, in California, it's 8 o'clock. I'm not going to eat again. The last time I ate was 4 o'clock. I'm done. I'm done for the day. So especially if I'm working from home, which I do mostly now, if I'm at home, I will wake up and I'll eat around 9, 10, and then I'll eat again at 4 p.m. and I'm done for the day. Because again, I'm not doing a lot of physical work. My body, I don't feel like I'm hungry. I'm not gonna eat, but you will always see me with my water. I'm just drinking water. In between, I do not snack. I don't snack at all. I eat just when I eat, when my time is my time is done to eat, I am done. I walk away from food. So intermittent fasting is very good. It's actually been seen even with people eating regular diet. If they do intermittent fasting, it improves their sugars and all that. It's going to improve your metabolic processes in the body. It's good. But again, I'm saying that if we had more healthier diet, more plant foods, meaning less calorie food, more nutrients, we have more nutrients. Because what I worry with the fasting is if you're going to eat one meal a day, are you going to consume all the vitamins you need? The macronutrients, you're not going to have a lot of problems. Again, you're probably going to eat a mixture of some protein. If you're eating, plant protein, animal protein, you're going to get your carbs and all that. But your micronutrients, your vitamins and antioxidants and all that, if you're restricting yourself to one meal a day, are you going to get enough? So that's why for me, I say at least 2 meals a day. Sometimes you might need a third one, but what I found even personally, because of the level of work that I do, a third meal a lot of time doesn't just sit well with me. When I eat, I just don't feel well rested at night if I eat late into like 7, 8 o'clock. So that's why now I do just 2 meals a day. But my breakfast, I make sure I get all the fruits, I get some whole grain, and then lunchtime I get some beans, some rice, or maybe ugali, vegetables, whatever I'm eating, I make sure that at least I get food from 4 food groups: your whole grains, your legumes, which is beans, lentils, peas, your vegetables, fruit, nuts, and seeds. I do those as well. So it's really helpful. Intermittent fasting is helpful. But I tell my people, if you're doing intermittent fasting, the way I do it, I do it this way because, again, you're going into the night to rest. I don't want you eating to 8 p.m. at night. You're going to sleep. You need rest. Your body needs to be, not digesting food when you should be resting. That's why for me, I'm like at 4 o'clock, I am done. The next time I touch food again, it's going to be 9 o'clock the next day. See, that's how many hours?
A lot of hours of being hungry,
Mm-hmm.
thinking about chips. It's sad, but okay, go ahead.
Yes. So it is helpful. I would say by all means, we should. This thing of eating 24 hours, you ate breakfast, you didn't eat enough because you've been told to portion and do all these things. And I tell my people, portioning only applies to unhealthy food. If I'm eating my beans, do you really think that somebody will ask me to portion? I can't even eat more than half a cup of beans. It's so hard to portion healthy food. If I'm eating a sweet potato, I eat one, I'm done. Portioning applies to food that is actually, let me tell you, food is addictive. Eating meat is addictive. Let me just say it. It's just the truth. You eat, it's very hard for you to eat just the size of the palm of your hand. It's so hard because of how it interacts with your body, how it stimulates your body and all that. It's very addictive. So I ask my people, I tell them, do this experiment. When you serve somebody food, they have meat, they have vegetables, and they have maybe ugali or rice. What do they go for first? Meat. They will eat that meat first before they eat anything else. Why is that?
Poverty.